Welcome to another car review for your growing family. Make sure you hit subscribe on the bottom right to catch new reviews every single week. But here's a long-running favorite of the channel. It's the 2020 Mazda CX-9. And it's got actually a whole bunch of brand new features coming up for 2020, including something that's going to boost it, where this car has kind of lacked against its closest competitors, which is interior passenger space. There's a whole bunch of new things coming up for this year. Let's go find out. The 2020 Mazda CX-9 this week on Family Wheels.
So Mazda's thing is, what they like to give you is a superior driving experience and a superior level on the interior for the price point and the category. But the trade-off for that through a lot of their cars and a lot of their range is interior size. And that's no different on the CX-9. This is a mid-size family 3-row SUV, which has less interior space than a lot of its competitors. But what they've done for 2020 is given you something new. You've got captain's chairs on the second row. Now it's standard on this one. This is the top level, this is the signature, and it's available as an option for the couple trim levels below that. And they are really nice. On this one, on the signature, you actually get the center console there as well. So you're getting a bunch more space of storage. You've got USB connections and charging outlets in there as well. Fully adjustable, they can slide back and forth, they can recline, they fold down really easily. Heated. One thing I find with the console in the middle though, the great thing about captain's chairs is if you're just gonna seat 6 people, you can jump in the door and slide in the middle without having to collapse the chair. But maybe you can get the lower trim level and not have the console so that you've still got that practical movement there. And that's just to start with for 2020 on the changes. There's actually quite a long list. Performance-wise, there's a couple as well. So you're getting 10 extra pound-feet of torque from the engine. They've tuned it a little bit differently. So if you're going for the higher octane, you are getting 320 pound-feet of torque on 93 octane. Or if you're just going to play for regular gas, you might as well. You're getting 310 pound-feet of torque. So a little bit more off the line for 2020. Same engine though, 2.5-litre turbo, 4-cylinder with the 6-speed automatic. That's pretty standard. By the way, here's how my kids enjoyed it with the kids pep test. You've also got the next generation of G-vectoring control. So it's G-vectoring control plus. So if you haven't heard of it, what they've done is added some braking capabilities, which is providing greater stability when you're maneuvering to avoid an emergency situation or countering slippery conditions on snowy roads. And G-vectoring control, by the way, it's kind of like, in a really small nutshell, it preempts little corrections we all make when we're driving, and it creates a smoother, more enjoyable driving experience. Other really nice add-ons for 2020. You've got the hands-free power lift gate. It's available on the top 2 trims. I've found it to work very well. You can just swing your leg. It's movement activated. On the interior for the top couple of trims, you've also got the new 9-inch color touchscreen for the infotainment system, adjustable on your controls down the bottom here, of course. So that makes it a bit nicer, a bit bigger, good for your reverse camera as well. They've also added the 360-degree camera, which another feature that I really like that we've seen in other cars, much higher up on the price scale. You now also have USB charging outlets on the 3rd row of this car. So you've got that through every single row along this car. And you also now have an off-road traction button, which replaces the old standard traction control. Now what that will do, if you are having some off-road fun, it will apply some braking pressure to the wheels that do not have any traction and then puts more power to the wheels that do have it. So that replaces the standard traction control that was available on your buttons down here. So good long list of add-ons for 2020. In Canada, you used to be able to get front-wheel drive as the base model, but now all-wheel drive is standard throughout the entire range. In the States, which is still common practice in a lot of cars, different makes and brands, you can choose between front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, but right up to the signature. The signature is standard all-wheel drive in the US and in Canada. In the States, the all-wheel drive will add on about $1,900 as well. Fuel economy is not too bad as well. You are getting 9.1 on the highway and 11.6 in the city. That's litres per 100 kilometres, which equates to 20 highway in miles per gallon and 26 for the city. In terms of family functionality though, so that trunk space is something that's going to let this down a little bit compared to its competitors. So this will have behind that 3rd row just 14 cubic feet of storage space, or 407 litres. Then if you put that 3rd row down, you've got 38 cubic feet or 1,082 litres of cargo space, which means our standardized test of the stroller, 2 bags of groceries, camera bag, soccer ball, behind that 3rd row, it's really not going to do it, to be honest. Obviously, if you do put that third row down, you've got oodles of space. It's not a problem whatsoever. But you look at it, the 3-row family SUVs this is up against, the Ford Explorer, Chevy Traverse, Honda Pilot, Toyota Highlander. You've now got the Telluride and the Palisade, even the Atlas. You've got so many choices. This is on the lower end. And for example, things like the Volkswagen Atlas, that has about 20 cubic feet behind the third row and about 57 or so if you put the third row down. So they have much more storage space. And I think it's got to do with also the angle that they've got that rear window. It's at about 45 degrees. That chops off a lot of it. And it also means that if you do happen to have someone in that back seat, I had to go, I fit back there. You've got about 30 inches of legroom on that third row. Short trips for adults, to be sure. Kids will be okay back there for longer distances, but I think because of that angle of that back window, my head was sort of touching the window there and it wasn't overly comfortable. But they've really tried hard throughout the rest of it to make this very functional for families. So plenty of space in the back for the kids. Our rear-facing kids seat test with the chunkiest kids seat we can find, the Collect Flow. Front passenger has oodles of space. It's totally adjustable. You can slide the front and the back seats back, obviously, to make a little bit more room when you need it. The rear door opens up to a nice angle. The door frames are kept nice and high so that you can get the kids in and out, no problems. You're not cramped for space at all. The door tubs have got lots of space for storage in it as well. The back pockets of the seats here have sort of twin pockets, which is something I can't remember seeing in a long time. So you've got lots of space there. Obviously with these captain seats, you've got that console there for lots more space as well. This center console is lovely and big with your beverage holders, more storage space down here. Also interestingly with those captain's chairs, I think because if you do have them, you don't actually have the power lift down of the third row. So that's been taken out for some reason. So it's just the manual up and down for that third row if you got the captain seats. But as I mentioned, what Mazda is going to give you is a superior driving experience. We're going to hit the road in a second, but the interior of this car, it's amazing. It's beautiful. It also has absolutely everything. It's got rain sensing wipers. You've got a lovely crisp head-up display which will read your road signs as well. You've got the Bose Premium system, which is a great system. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius Satellite. By the way, I don't think the two bottom trims have Sirius XM, so maybe they're saving some cash there. I thought that was really weird. 360-degree camera. The infotainment system is the Mazda Connect system, which I like. It is a bit slow on startup. It takes like a little bit long to get going. Other times it's slightly laggy. The reverse camera resolution could be a little bit better. It'd be nice if that was nice and crisp, but the parking assist, the sensors and everything work pretty good, and I love the addition of the 360-degree camera. One thing about where the climate control is placed, it's kind of blocked a lot of the time, like especially if you've got you're sitting in park or whatever, it's kind of blocked. It could be up a little bit higher, but that's a very small little criticism. The rest of it with this wood grain, I'm not a fan of wood grain, but this one looks pretty good. Even though you've got wood and shiny chrome and black gloss and brushed metal and white leather, you've got every color combo. It actually comes together pretty good, whereas that has the likelihood you can get that very wrong very easily. Its competitors will usually give you a 4-cylinder and a 6-cylinder option. With this one, you're only getting that 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine, putting out the 227 horsepower or 250 if you want to pay for premium gas. I don't think if you're going for a Mazda, a non-premium car, I don't think you can be bothered paying for premium gas, and you don't have to. 6-speed auto. On this particular one, I've used this same auto in a couple other different cars, and it didn't feel as sharp in this one, obviously because it's got a bit more weight to deal with, but it was it's not seamless. You certainly know that you're going through the gears most of the time. So on that occasion, I also found a little bit more engine noise in the interior for this particular one as well. It was quieter, this Skyactiv G engine in some different models. You do have one driving mode actually. You've got a sport mode down here. So you've got this little small button here. Let me just pull off and we'll just try and launch it. So you just click it into sport. That's your only option that you've got. Shall I turn off? Well, I don't have traction control. I got that new off-road one, so I'm just gonna leave that. You do have sequential shift. You don't have paddles. I'm just gonna keep that in auto and let's just see how it goes off the line. Slow gear change. Yeah. That feels slower than any of the other Mazdas, the 6-speed autos that I've driven. Standard now on the Mazda CX-9 is their catalog of driver safety equipment called iActive Sense. So you've got automated emergency braking with pedestrian detection, blind spot monitoring with rear cross traffic alert, adaptive cruise control, lane departure warning, and lane keeping assist, All of that is standard. Interestingly, from the IIHS, I saw the 2019 model had top safety pick plus from the IIHS, but it says 2020 is a top safety pick without the plus. I'm not sure why. That's just what I found on their website. And the NHTSA gives it a 5-star rating overall. Quick price check. So in Canada, this car starts at $39,900. It's a bit more of an uptick in price for the base because you don't have that front wheel drive option now. It's all standard all-wheel drive. And then the Signature, this one is $51,500. Now this one that we have tested, this is the Signature. It's also the Soul Red Crystal color, which I love. It really pops. And this one's got the captain's chairs and the console, obviously, all in $53,750. In the States, you're going to start with the front wheel drive base at $33,890, up to the all-wheel drive Signature, which is $46,215. Which one should you get though? I actually would usually say that you should just go for the Signature level because it's such a beautiful interior. But on this one, I actually feel like the one below that is enough. It's got all the bells and whistles that you need. Even the captain's chairs, you can get them as an option. You won't get the console, I don't think, but yeah, doesn't matter. But then the Signature will give you a few other things like the Napa leather, if you want Napa leather, but the one below this has leather. But then it's other little bits of trim and bits and pieces and everything. But the one below it has all the bells and whistles, even 3-row climate control, even the sunshades on the back, even the hands-free liftgate and everything. I think you'll be absolutely fine with that one, which in Canada is the GT trim. What don't I like about this car? What could be a bit better? I wish it had a panoramic sunroof. Like, this is a pretty small little moon sunroof. Like the Volkswagen Atlas has that big, beautiful panoramic sunroof. Some people don't like, sorry, there's ducks in my way. Excuse me, ducks. Try to review a CX-9. While the engine is good, it does exactly what you need. Some of the others, by the time they've got their V6, you can get closer to like 300 horsepower and stuff. So it might be nice to have an option which has a bunch more punch, because this does not have a huge towing capacity. I think it's below 4,000 pounds. It's really not big. So some of those others, like the Ford Explorer, etc., like the Traverse, maybe even the Atlas, they're going to give you a bigger towing capacity if you want to take something else away with you. The dash could be a bit nicer. That's really about it. So that's the 2020 Mazda CX-9, a bunch of really nice upgrades for 2020 for a car that's been around for 4 years now. Hopefully you found this review useful. If you have, give it a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel on the bottom right there so you can catch brand new reviews every single week. Until next time, from Family Wheels, I'm Kai.